Everything you need to know about 1240 The Brew is on the Brewhouse website, 1240thebrew.com. 1240 KOKL, Okmulgee, Oklahoma.
SJ, welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. SJ, Stungo, Gary Fife, Johu Jeff Gedos, Mvskoke Radio, Mabo Hedged, Wedgekiz. Welcome to our program this week as we're looking at the fall weather. We've got a couple things lined up here for you today that could prove of some community interest, perhaps. First of all, what's happening with the Country Club? That beautiful piece of land sitting out there with a classic building, classic Oklahoma stone building, and a lot of room for golf. What's going on with it, and do we have a plan for its future? We'll be talking with Council Representative Del Beaver about a measure he just got through his, in October that got another step forward taking place on that issue. So we'll kind of find out where we are with that. And secondly, I hope the dust has settled for you for the election. We've got official results today. I mean, not today, but to share with you today, of course. And then we'll have Nelson Harjo from the election board coming in with our old buddy Darren DeLon to come in and talk about some of our coverage there. We did new things with it this year. We had online live stream, so we got you the information as it came in. We'll see how that went, and of course, if anyone wants to make a comment, you're more than welcome to give us a call. But first of all, let's share our piece with Del Beaver. This is the development and maintenance of the Okmulgee Country Club and Golf Course. If I could just read. Okay, fine. Let's roll it. Okay, I am rolling now, so if you would give me an ID, please.
Okay, my name is Del Beaver, and I am the National Council representative for the Okmulgee District, C-Day.
Now, we have here a copy of Bill number NCA 17195, a law authorizing Interior to develop and maintain the Okmulgee Country Club and Golf Course. Now, that particular piece of property has been the subject of a lot of speculation and questions about its future. What does your legislation intend to do?
The one that you're talking about, what it is we last year, in fiscal year 17, we passed the legislation for about $160,000, I believe, and that was to buy equipment to help maintain the property and to hire somebody to maintain the property. So we have a presence on the site at all times. And the Department of the Interior, they only used about half that money. And so and then the other half went back into the tribes fund. But what this appropriation did was just kept that person there because it wasn't part of the budget, and so it kept that person there, and it gave them money to help maintain the property. And so the appropriation wasn't really to develop the property; it was to help maintain the property. But also, though, I know they want to try to get a certificate of occupancy through the city of Okmulgee, and that will allow for them to, I guess, rent out that building the country club, and I guess to maybe generate some income, a little extra income. But that's what once they get that certificate of occupancy, then they can rent that building out, and they use it right now, but mainly just for tribal events. I think they have fiddle dances out there right now. But things like that. So once they get that CO, then they'll be able to rent it out to the public. And I know that the tribe we appropriated money for the tribal master site plan, and so the people that are doing that, they looked at that property, and I think that their idea would be to make it more for a kind of like a cultural type center. So that's not set in stone, but that's kind of one of their ideas. I think right now, preliminary idea is to maybe use it more of as a cultural type center. But that appropriation was to help maintain, keep the property maintained.
Sort of keep it from any deterioration by having someone there to keep an eye on it. Exactly.
Because for a while there was nobody there, and so there was leaks. That was there. That went unchecked for a while, and how things are. If you leave them alone, then somebody's eventually going to get curious and break in and start looking around. So I think it might have been broken in too. So that person there just allows it to maintain it, keep eyes on it, make sure nobody's breaking in, that type of stuff.
The plans for usage of the entire country club have not been discussed, as my understanding. We asked the administration for some sort of statement, and they said they weren't prepared to at this point. Has there been any discussion then of how they want to use the facility? You got a lot of land there, kitchen, a bar, of course the dance area where the fiddle dances indeed are taking place. But did anybody talk about that at all?
Not formally. I've had plenty of discussions. At the table or at the local restaurant. About about the uses of it, but as a council, we have not sat down and talked about the intended uses. The only thing I really know for sure is what they want as far as tribe goes as a whole is, in that southeast corner. When we bought the property, it was already plumbed and everything for a little housing addition in that corner. And so the only thing I know is that the tribe would like to one day use that for like veterans homes, I believe. I think that was the original plan, is to put some type of veterans homes in there. But we'll have to see on that. But yeah, that little corner of the property is already ready, plumbed and everything. So that makes sense, is to keep that little corner there for some type of homes. But as far as the property as a whole, as the other type of property, or what's the best use for the other property, it hasn't been formally discussed. With lots of ideas, but hasn't been formally discussed.
So its days as a golf course are over?
Gary, I would assume so. Being a golfer, I would love for it to go back to a golf course, even a 9-hole golf course like it originally was. I live, about 3 miles away from there, so it'd be a perfect place for me. But that's just being selfish, So I think that the days of it being a golf course are over. I mean, it takes a lot of money, capital investment to create a golf course. We're talking about a new water system, sprinklers, sprinkler lines. You have to. Greens are expensive to create. So yeah, it'd be a lot of money, a lot more money invested in the property, to create a golf course. So yeah, I don't see it happening. I'd love for it to become a golf course, but that's just a lot of money that the tribe would have to invest into it, and I don't know how much the return would be. But first I would love to, but that's just me being selfish, But for the good of the tribe, I think, I don't think it'll be a golf course anytime soon. Or I don't think those are in the plans.
What about the Stone Blade restaurant idea? I know the former administration announced its opening with a lot of fanfare and a press conference, and then it pretty well nosedived. From last reports we saw, it was losing $30,000 a month. Will the restaurant at all be reinvigorated in any form, or perhaps will it be used as an auxiliary thing for community and tribal events?
I don't. Like I said, there really hadn't been any talk about reviving Stoneblade. And I don't know. I don't know exactly why it went under. There probably, various reasons. But it seems to me that it would be more suited for kind of what you talked about, auxiliary events. If we're going to have nothing full time, I guess. But capable of preparing food, that type of stuff, but nothing full time. But it just all kind of depends on getting the right people in and having the right business plan. Really, what type of plan do you have? So, but it's set up for some type of making food. So I don't know if it'll just be as is, whatever's going to be hosted there, or if it'll be full time. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see.
Right. I remember its menu being sort of let's say geared toward the higher end of our economic scale. Correct. And there was never really any marketing plan for any of the facilities there at the country club. So I would presume if you're going to try and attract business, you're going to have to go out there and wave your flag a bit, huh? Yeah. I mean, that's all part of business is marketing. That's a big part. Making sure people know it's there and what the prices are and that type of thing. So but you're absolutely right. It was geared towards people with the higher salary. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. I ate out there a few times, and but I mean, it was good food. I just don't know why it closes doors. But it all depends on. All comes down to the plan, and which incorporates and all sorts of things, and execution of the plan, and having the right people in place. I would love to have another eating place here in Okmulgee. Yeah, it would be nice to have an alternative to a lot of the kind of the fast food industry there. Now, has the tribe talked with the city of Okmulgee about it? I'm sure they've got some ideas or something that they would like to see.
I don't know, Gary. To be honest with you, I don't know if the administration has or not. I'm sure there's been some small talks, but I can't say for certain, what the chief's office has talked to about the city with. I know, nobody's come before the council, like during pre-agenda or anything like that and talked to us about it. So I can't say formally that any talks have been discussed.
In committee, what sort of reception did the ideas get? And what was the final vote on that bill?
It passed unanimously. But like I said, it was just more to maintain the course, make sure that somebody's out there during the week, and so we're just kind of. I get the feeling, this is just my personal feeling is that we're kind of wait and see what the master plan has for us and what the recommendations are, and then we'll kind of go from there.
All right. Finally, for $99,000 plus, what do we get?
What do we get for the?
Yeah, for the appropriation. Now, you mentioned putting a staff person on board out there. Is that it? I mean, kind of give me an idea what this legislation would pay for.
It pays for a full-time employee to be out there. It pays for any type of equipment and supplies that this person needs to just for the upkeep. he doesn't keep up the whole 160 acres or so. Might be, what is it, 140, 160, somewhere around there. But he keeps up a large part of it. So it pays for that. Like I said, they're also going to look into use some of that money, I guess, to get a CO, their certificate of occupancy, and whatever that might entail. We might have to do some minor renovations or something like that, minor updates. I think they're actually going to. They mentioned look at some cultural possibilities, and that might just be. I really don't know exactly what that might entail, but they're going to talk with, I guess, the cultural department and see if there's any way they might be able to use the property. So really, we're just kind of keeping it open, making sure that it doesn't go into disrepair, making sure nobody goes in and trashes the place, but we invest quite a bit of money into it. So this appropriation basically just as of right now, to be honest with you, it's just a status quo. Let's just make sure it doesn't fall into disrepair, doesn't get broke down or anything like that, and we'll kind of wait and see about this master plan and see what the so-called experts have to say about maybe the best intended use for that property should be.
Representative Beaver, Council Member Beaver, rather, is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave about the plan here?
Let's just keep an open mind. Like I said, we've heard a lot of ideas, a lot of good ideas of what it should be, what it could be, and they're all pretty good. But eventually we're going to have to settle on something. We're just going to have to create a good plan for it, whether it be a business plan or a cultural plan or whatever it may be. Eventually we're going to have to settle on an idea, a plan, and just execute it. And hey, maybe the best plan is to sell it. I don't know. That's always an option. So whatever it may be, I just hope that it's a good plan. We got to have something in place. We just can't, just have ideas. Everybody has good ideas, but with those ideas, you got to have a good plan and how to execute it and execute it properly. So.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time and you filling us in. We'll keep our eyes on this issue and probably give you a buzz back in the future.
Hey, no problem, Gary.
That was Del Beaver talking about the latest piece of legislation. Now, first of all, apologies for the sound levels there. Working with a brand new piece of equipment, I'm not totally satisfied with what it's doing for me, so we'll work on that and try and make it a lot better in the future. But we're going to take a short pause here, and we'll be back. Darren DeLon has joined us here in the studio, so we'll kind of get a feel for some of the stuff he's been up to, particularly with the election, and we're expecting one of those folks to show up this morning and give us an idea of how that thing went. So first of all, let's take a break.
Mvskoke Media has created an online survey to get feedback from you about our coverage and operations. Participants will be entered to win artwork from Mvskoke Creek artist Dana Tiger. At the beginning, you will be asked for your name, phone number, and email. The survey consists of 18 questions that are either multiple choice or in a yes or no format. Visit www.mvskokemedia.com to participate. The survey is open November 1st through November 30th. Winners will be announced December 1st.
All right, welcome back. Darren, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Gary. How are you?
Okay, looking, first of all, let me do my sidewalk superintendent thing. The council house is looking very autumnal.
Let me do a turnaround. Yes, I think so. It's getting up there. Hopefully, last time I was here, I was seeing the people, they were out there. They were working away. So
not today, though.
Yeah, good idea.
All the trees have turned, and so it's gorgeous, actually. So, first of all, we were going to be talking with Mr. Harjo, I believe, and hopefully he'll be with us in the next few minutes. But in the meantime, let me talk to you about something that Mvskoke Media did with this particular election, both the general and the primary. We did a live stream on computer, so we were able to give our constituents live updates as it went. Now, you joined me. You and I worked the first one, and you and Jason Salzman worked the second one. I thought it was pretty cool. It's like the commercial stations I used to watch back in Anchorage and other places to keep up with what's going on. So it was kind of nice to be able to deliver that for our people. And to the life of me, I don't know that any other tribe does this.
I don't think so either. Not that I know of any right offhand. One thing I can remember, I mean, it just makes you happy that, I mean, you're moving along with the technology. I mean, if we remember, like whenever we did whenever the elections used to happen, how some of the representatives, like if they had like certain like parties, I guess, throughout the Mvskoke Creek Nation at certain areas, they would send a representative to the Mvskoke Creek Nation complex in the McCombs building, and they would have somebody there looking at the, I guess, whenever they pop up on the screen or whatever, and they would call. And they would send it back to the candidate party, and that's how they would update them. Well, I mean, for that time now, I mean, I think some still do that, but then again, some I don't think a lot don't, because I mean they have us now. They have us that we are there. We did a live stream. I mean, and a cool thing about it was we got to send out. I mean, we got to do little gift prizes and everything, so it just let people know that they were watching. I mean, so they let us know that they were watching, and plus they got to see the results as soon as 7 o'clock came. I mean, the polls closed down, and we were on watch mode too, just waiting. As soon as the results came to us, we were updating everybody else. So I mean, that was one of the great things about, I guess, from what we used to do to now. You know?
Oh yeah, night and day.
Very.
For anyone who is curious, it was on the Mvskoke Media YouTube site, right?
Mvskoke Media YouTube and MvskokeMedia.com.
Right, so that's where it was, in case you were interested and didn't know where it was. Well, too bad, too late. But, we're not done with that technique. Actually, we were really pleased with the way it went in-house.
It was a good thing. I mean, we were able to talk about, a lot of things that was going on at the time. What the citizens expect from the candidates. I mean, that was one of their most. I mean, that's the most important part. I mean, we always brought up, and you and I brought it up in the past. I mean, we need to remind these citizens, and we need to remind the candidates that you work for the citizens. The candidates work for the citizens. That's why you're elected, to work for them. And we just wanted to bring that up. And we also, when we worked the primary election, we got to do, I think it was Devaney Luxinger, our producer with Native News Today, and also a reporter. She did a interview with Dodie Barnett, outgoing National Council Seat B for the Creek District. And, Dodie got to speak about what it took to be a National Council representative. And, she brought up some good points. I mean, you're not going to make everybody happy. Of course not. I mean, that's never going to happen. I mean, I know we don't make everybody happy. I mean, but it's just you're working for the nation, and you're working for the citizens as a whole, not just one person in particular. And, she pointed that out pretty well. I mean, so that was one of the things that we could bring up. We brought up numerous other subjects as well. I mean, like who was running. I mean, we did National Council profiles, stuff like that. Right.
Now, I want to pat our colleagues on the back at Native News Today.
Yes.
They took the time and dedicated program time to have all of those candidates come down and answer the same set of questions. Mm-hmm. None of the candidates knew what the questions were ahead of time. So, bang, here you are, surprised. And the performances, I think, from what I saw, really varied from, very confident and well versed in what the subjects were, to some of those candidates who just kind of rattled on and avoided questions. Another thing that
avoided just kept on talking without giving us that answer.
It's like that's fine on whatever issue you're talking about, but the question is, and one of the answers we did get repeatedly as well, once I get in, we'll listen to what the people say, and we're thinking, you're supposed to have a platform. This is what I stand for. This is what I'll do.
It seemed like that was a universal answer for a lot of the candidates. And, in order to be able to listen to what the people say, we've heard numerous times, answer your phone. Answer your phone, and so a lot, we heard complaints in the past. They don't, So, that was one of the big issues right there.
It's crazy. We, I think, have really turned a corner with the way we're handling these elections now, and giving the candidates a chance to shine, or hang themselves if they go in the wrong direction or something. Say something.
And that exactly. We didn't have those questions that was an attack. We didn't attack anybody. These questions were the same throughout, that pointed towards their district, what the citizens wanted to hear. And, they were equal to every single candidate. So that's what we want to let everybody know about that, too, is these were, and, we did have some questions that came from the citizens, right, Jason, whenever he would host these debates, he would point that out. That was a question came from a citizen from so-and-so district, he made that point out. So it let us know that they are watching, they are listening. They want to know what how the candidates are. Even our at-large, we it's not just here in the Mvskoke Creek Nation jurisdiction, the 11 counties. We're talking about California, we're talking about Arkansas, Tennessee, Kansas, Texas. Those, and I'm pretty sure there's all over the place too. I know a couple Creek citizens who are in Washington. not D.C., but the state of Washington. They want to know. They want to know how you're going to be handling a business that deals with the Creek Nation, and also business that deals with outside the jurisdiction of the Mvskoke Creek Nation. So.
We're expanding so much. I think we had chance to go over and look at the new business establishment in Bixby, the chicken franchise, and talk to that. We'll be sharing that piece in the future, and I guarantee you folks the levels on that one will be much better. But it was refreshing for me to see the interest we were getting, and even those little prize giveaways, all of a sudden the phones were lighting up, from what I understand, and people using the old speed dialer and trying to get head and shoulder their way in there.
Everybody wants the free stuff.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if we tell you what, probably if we would have not been working that day, we probably would have been calling in too. So trying to disguise our names or something like that. So
my name's Roy. I want a new coffee cup. But that was interesting. Now, and it was as I say, a kind of a new phase in tribal elections from across the country. The only other tribe who has an electoral process that I think is worth watching is the Choctaws. Now go to all
absentee. Absentee. That's pretty, I guess, for me, peculiar. And it's just, I know a lot of people rather go to that booth. They rather just be in there in the among the polling places, wherever their polling places are, and vote that way instead of absentee. And we had some. There was I guess some complaints sometimes that the absentee. They might have not made it there on time, because I know they had to have those in the mail back at a certain time, and there's sometimes that just didn't happen. I'm not sure what was going on with that. So, but with the
hey, Liz?
On
hi, Gary here. Was Nelson Hardy going to make it? With us going absentee, I just don't think that's really going to happen. That I just think honestly, I think everybody likes the polling places more than
or some do like absentee, maybe the ones that don't make it in the Mvskoke Creek Nation jurisdiction, or then some just prefer just to go to the polling places. I mean, like me, I prefer to go to the polling places. I did vote as absentee one time, but goofy me never brought it in. So I would go in and do a challenge vote. I would go into that certain area to, I live close to Twin Hills, so I went to the Twin Hills polling place and, did a challenge vote that way. And now I prefer to just go into the polls instead of doing absentee.
Okay, apologies to our listeners if you heard another phone call going on right there. That was yours truly checking up on our next guest in dealing with a case of producer sweat right now.
Nah, we're fine. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Another half hour or so to go. I went to the Glenpool polling place at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I was the only one in there. And made my selections and put my ballot in, and noticed on the counter there was only 55 other voters. So I was thinking, God, I know there are more people up here that should be. That's still a question that bugs us. So how do we get our people to turn out?
Yeah, I always brought up, I know it's our constitutional right to vote. It is our constitutional right to vote. I understand that. I really do. But, and Jason brought this up in one of his hashtag Real Talk, his column. And he said it's not even like a pinch or something like that vote compared to the people that have the Mvskoke Creek Nation red tags that get these services, stuff like that. It's not the difference is so broad. It's not as you just can't even count it. We have over 88,000 citizens. I'm not sure that how many is over the age of 18, but yes, they should be out there voting. I mean, everybody's saying that it don't work anyways. It does not work. Well, of course not whenever you're not out there voting at all. I mean, and personally, if it was just, of course, this is not Muskogee media. Right here, this is just me being a citizen.
Yeah.
I wish they would change it in maybe the constitutional way to have somebody, vote maybe once every certain amount of years. I wish there was a way that we could tally that somehow. I know they make a mark on who is voting, who makes that vote, but I wish that they would make that, they would figure out some way to just get more voters in. And that was one of my solutions, but I know that's a little bit too out there. So I'm not sure that will happen ever.
As long as we're sticking our neck out, perhaps there should be a penalty. Like if you haven't voted in so many years, then sorry, you're cut off. And too bad if you, after a scholarship or a business loan or even medical services, I guarantee you, you change that, you'd have people squawking all over the place. But
True.
That's a pretty radical way to go. Now, it's kind of been my thought that, you got so many folks out there who just wanted a cheap license plate. I mean, you see all over the place, but they're not showing at the polls. So there's a criticism, folks.
And the thing about it is, the people that some of those who can't get the license plate, who are outside the jurisdiction, they're still voting. Absentees do vote.
Yeah.
They don't. But it's the people that are in the jurisdiction that do not. We see the polling places; they're very, very low. And that. I hope. Someday we'll find the answer, and hopefully we can turn that around to get our. I would love the our voting up into the 10,000s, 20,000s. That would be so cool to see. I want to switch gears for a bit, still on the polling thing, but we saw the results coming right away. They used to hand count those things, and they take it to the wee hours of the morning. And I know you dealt with it whenever you were, on the radio show in Alaska. You had to deal with those. You were up all nighters. There were sometimes I was too. But, with this technology that we have now, man, we were able to get the votes immediately. I would love whenever, if we ever get Nelson Harjo on board, I'm pretty sure, I think he's on his way to D.C. I think I did get that text. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think that's what happened right there. But, if we ever get him back on board, or maybe somebody from the election board in general, I would love to find out that process. What's the process now? What's the change right now to make it go up? Or make the make the outcome of these votes like more quicker. I mean, because like we said, I mean, within 45 minutes we were done with all the polling places. And for the general election, because we only had to do, if I'm not mistaken, five districts that were in the general election, made it a lot quicker. And we're not just talking about absentee votes in the polling places. We're talking about the challenge votes too. The challenge votes, you know, I mean, usually they did have to count that by hand, say the name. I mean, I think that was the process, but that's what I would want to hear. I want to hear the technology. Like, is there positives about it? Is there negatives about it? What did you like about it? Obviously, I liked that it was faster to get that out. By 8 o'clock, we were done. But that's what I want to know is to, you know, what was the process of getting that? Because I know, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, if I heard right from the time, you know, they used to have Light Horse escort escort somebody up from the polling places to the election board here in Okmulgee, you know. So I just wanted to see if that's still the same process or what is it? Is it all electronic now?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because they often came under criticism of ballot stuffing. And if you had a light horseman who was in favor of a particular candidate, then there might be something kind of fishy going on there. But in this method, it's there. It's all counted. You're ready to go, and it's kind of hard to dispute unless you're a really good computer hacker. Let me take a minute, folks. We understand that Mr. Harjo cannot be with us. He's on his way to D.C.
for the Mvskoke Adawa, which is like every 2 years. I think every 2 to 3 years, the Mvskoke Creek Nation goes up to the National Museum of the American Indian in Washington D.C., the Smithsonian, and they show everybody up there how our tribe lives. You know, our ways of life, our culture.
Right.
And I guess you know, there's I'm hoping there's some creeks up there. Maybe the election board's going up there to get them enrolled into the sign up for the voter, be a voter.
Yeah, we'll have to put him on the spot when it gets back.
That'll be great.
And by the way, folks, our program just turned into the Gary and Darren show here.
No problem at all. You know, one thing I do want to bring up is if anybody did not know about the results, could we please, I mean, just tell them the results again of the National Council, the Seat B election?
Now, these results are official as of Saturday, November 4th. We have the final report.
It'll be Friday, November 9th at 5 p.m.
Yeah. It says, here it is. It says 0 p.m.
Cool.
Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you for our printer.
Yeah, they usually give that 1 week, that protest period is what they call it. So Friday at 5.
Let's go. National Council Delegate Creek District Seat B, Mr. Patrick Freeman Jr. Got 62.30% of the vote over George Tiger, who got 37.70%. Travis Scott defeated Frank Coachman at a 56.6% over Coachman's 43.3%. And that was Mvskoke Seat B. Now, Okmulgee Seat B, James Jennings was chosen with a 51% over Carmen Tecumseh Williams, and that one looks like it got a little tight there.
That was, I mean, whenever Jason and I were watching it, we saw how close of a race that was going to be, and I mean, and it showed right there. I mean, it was just by a little bit over 100 and, what was it, 130, 120 or something like that?
Let's see, Jennings had 1648, and Carmen had 1530. That's kind of a close margin.
A lot of people think that, I mean, 100 votes is not close, but yes, it is, especially when it comes to something like this.
Right. Okay, moving on to Tuckabutchee Seat B. Thomasine Yahola Osborne defeated Edwin Marshall. That was 75% over 24%. Now, there was a significant difference. There was a clear mandate there. It's interesting to see the differences between Okmulgee and Tuckabutchee. I get the candidates, of course, but Bango, the number of voters, the turnout in that area was great. And finally, in Tulsa Seat B, Lucian Tiger III was the winner over Chera Giles, 57% over 42%. And I was watching that one too, thinking it might get a little tight, and we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of new ones up there. Of course, Patrick Freeman.
Right.
And also, Thomasina Osborne. She's been around the Mvskoke Creek Nation for quite a bit of time. I know she, as far as I remember, she worked in housing. And I know she worked in the Southern Regional Office in Wetumpka, and I think that's where she hails from, is Wetumpka, Oklahoma. Been there, I think she said, since the day she was born. And, those are a couple of new faces that I know that are in there, so it's going to see how they react to, being in there. I'm pretty sure she maybe kind of knows a little bit of the ins and outs. Her father, Thomas Fiahola, has been in National Council seat for a number of years. So it's just seeing how they're would her views share the same as her father, or does she have her own views? It's just those questions are going to be coming up.
Yeah, did it rub off on her, so to speak? And we've seen, as you mentioned, a couple of new faces then, but a couple of candidates there who had looked like they were trying to get, quote, recycled, unquote, were not. Of course, George Tiger and Edwin Marshall were part of the past administration that had some rough spots there, and I think left a bit of a bad taste in some folks' mouths, some folks. And the voters said, no, we're going to go a new direction there. So that's interesting to see that. Then, of course, the speaker, Mr. Lucian Tiger, defeated Sarah Giles, who's been around, as you say, for some time and knows the ins and outs of the process.
Both candidates do. Both candidates did. They both have served on the National Council. I'm not sure if Lucian Tiger served in the executive branch, but I know in the legislative branch he has been a part of. So, but yeah, I know Shara has both served in both legislative and executive. So, but yeah, it was it was a great thing to see that. These results coming out as quickly as they did. I was very, very surprised and happy about that. One of the things we had to, they let us watch the game. We got to watch Bedlam. So, seeing Jason and I, with, we're rooting for OU, of course. And then that might be the only time we didn't want to be unbiased. We had to be. So we're like, if you watch the live stream, you notice we're looking down at the phone, looking at the camera, looking down at the phone. We're constantly doing that. But, and that was pretty comical, I believe. Yeah. We had to do something to keep it going. We had 30 minutes to talk about before we, got to the results.
Well, I watched that game too. And it was up and down, man. So, yeah, I guess I'm a bit of an OU fan because that's the only game we could get to watch in Alaska.
Oh, okay.
And
nice.
my younger brother went to OSU. So.
All right. Oh, all right. Okay. Like family divided, huh?
Civil War. Okay, yeah. Billy Yank, shut up, Johnny Ray. And I haven't talked to him about it.
Oh, yeah. Probably a good idea not to.
Well, with hunting season coming up, don't want to talk about that. But, it's kind of funny, though. Sometimes we personally, as citizens, will have our own feelings about candidates and kind of things that, we personally want to see, but we have to stay unbiased and balanced in our reporting. So hopefully we didn't let anything leak out on a microphone that betrayed us.
I don't think we did. We really... we understand the importance of that. We understand the importance of swaying. We sometimes, you'll see it in some people. And especially the ones that are on the TV, and sometimes you won't. We want to follow that. You won't. Of course, we do have who we wanted in there in our National Council seats, who we wanted there as second chief. But, but for us, being that, we're getting the news out to the citizens, we got to stay in the middle. We have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So like we said, we know who we're going to vote for. We're not going to tell you who we're going to vote for, but we know who we're going to vote for in order to, we're going to stay neutral. We are going to stay neutral.
And, that can be a little tough to do sometimes when you see something going the way that you favor. You get all pumped up. But, it's our job to make sure that our listeners and viewers get the straight deal.
Yes.
That there's nothing there that would color our coverage. And to those folks who still think that the council or the administration tells us what to do, it ain't so, folks. No. We will stand up and argue that one all day. Particularly with the freedom of the press law, we've been able to do so much more that we think that our citizens deserve in the way of balanced coverage. If it's an issue that doesn't make us look particularly good, well, that's so be it. That's the way it is. But for those of you who still think that's the case, well, it ain't so. So we actually, I think, particularly for myself, I enjoy the job more now.
I really do too. I mean, like you said, I always brought up how it's more, I got to learn more. But I mean, the learning process is great. I mean, I'm learning what I used to see all the time whenever, I had to watch the news. I'm learning how they're doing it. I mean, sometimes, it might not be as quick as they do, but I mean, I'm learning how to do it, So, I mean, that's one of the great things about it is, I mean, and like you said, I mean, even with, we're getting both sides of the, like we said, we're always in the middle. So whenever we have something that we need to report on, if it's bad, we're still getting both sides. We're having both sides talk, and we hope both sides talk. That's what we want. We need the news. We're not going to be one-sided on that. So that's what, I mean, we hope people understand is like whenever we do report something, we're not going to bash on them. We're reporting on both sides of the story. We're getting both views.
Let me insert this real quick. We did a piece. We just did this piece on the maintenance of the country club, and to make sure that we're balanced, I forgot to mention that we did ask someone from the administration to make a comment, but the response I got from public relations was they were not ready, probably for another couple of months, to kind of unveil their plans. So,
one of the good things that Representative Del Beaver brought up in that interview, and I was listening to it, was how he said, we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be thinking of plans. He goes, it's great to have plans, but you got to have something to back up that plan. You can't just say something and just like, I don't know how we're going to do it. We're just going to do it. I mean, you got to have a backup to that plan, or, what's the point of having that plan?
We heard that for years. I mean, we're meeting with the architects or somebody else, and we're going to go after this, and we're going to go after that, and then honestly, nothing happened.
That's the part right there is like, whenever make an announcement of like, what came of that meeting, let us know what came of that meeting. Okay. If it wasn't a good one, we're going to go somewhere else. Okay. Keep us updated. Let us know. I mean, that is a big piece of property that the Mvskoke Creek Nation has. A lot of citizens from around here, especially in the Okmulgee area, wants to know what's going to be done.
Right.
So,
and we'll try not to get too preachy here. Now, getting back to what we did on the elections, it pleased me to watch the performance. I had a young man come through my office and said, "Well, you guys weren't any good." And I said, "Well, you ought to be doing something like Fox News," and I had to bite my tongue on that one. But I said, "Well, listen here. Wait a minute. I understand and appreciate your feelings and your thoughts here, but keep this in perspective. Somebody like Fox News is talking about a multi-million-dollar administration and budget. They've got the money to hire these hotshot producers and this beautiful host to come in and do that. And, you've got the bucks, you can do anything. Look at the car commercials, for gosh sakes.
Yeah.
But I think in defense of our program, we're making the most of what we got, and I think I'm doing a darn good job.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I mean, one of the things about... and both you and I talked about it, like that same particular individual wanted a newspaper, wanted to know, honestly just said like he didn't know about this, but, we're getting it out there. We're getting out the information that we have out there, with our graphic design program, with our editorial staff, with our TV show, with our radio show. We're going the way of technology. We're on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, we're doing it on Twitter. We have our own website. It's our job to get it out there. It's your job to be proactive and take all this information in. If you still want a paper, please give us a call. Give us that information that we're asking for. We'll get a paper out to you, and if the paper don't come out to you, we're going to find the reason why. Sure. We're going to get you a paper, and the paper's always free at certain different places that we distribute at. The paper's free. So, to a citizen. So, yeah, please go by our office and pick up a paper,
Right.
We're going to get you that.
While you're there.
Yeah. And please, we're going to let you, we want to get that paper to you. We want to get all of our information that we're going out to the Mvskoke Creek Nation and natives and non-natives. We want to get that information out to you. So please, if you want that paper, just give us a call. We'll write it down and we'll do the rest.
Right. Yeah. We've got folks there now. And a system that makes life a whole lot easier for us. We are getting preachy here,
Yeah, we are. Let's change gears real quick. I know we're talking about the election, and nothing. Don't get me wrong. I love talking. We could talk about the election all day, but let's change it. Gary, we're doing a promotion right now with the Tulsa Ballet.
Yeah, oh boy.
Yes, of course, me with my, I'm always been a big fan of dancing, so we're doing a lot of stuff with that. But the Mvskoke Media right now is doing a promotion with the Tulsa Ballet for all Mvskoke Creek Nation citizens and also employees of the Mvskoke Creek Nation, to where they're discounted tickets to come watch any throughout the 2017 to 2018 Tulsa Ballet season. So which that includes the Nutcracker, one of my favorite ballets, Strictly Gershwin, Cinderella. Those are, they discounted those tickets for that, and those are great seats where they're talking about.
That is amazing, and we want to remind our listeners that Native American people have had a long history and presence in ballet, both in this country, but also international. Maria told you.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yvonne Chateau, and cultural icons that made their mark not only here but in Europe, and dancing with the Bolshoi and other things like that. And so it's something that I think is a natural force. Now, your interest is also in exposing your daughter Cyan to this classic, the fine arts piece.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And it was funny. I was speaking to the artistic director of the Tulsa Ballet, Marcello Angelini from Italy. Great person, been doing ballet since he was 8.5 years old. But he brought up about ballet. He goes, when people who don't know about ballet want to come see a ballet show, chances are they're going to watch the Nutcracker.
Right.
And from the Nutcracker, they get exposed to it, And that's what and he's right, especially from my part right there. That's what got me started, was watching the Nutcracker on TV. Now I was able to show my daughter, the Nutcracker. Whenever we go to the Performing Arts Center in Tulsa, she gets to see it now. She loves the mice. She loves the Rat King. She likes the bad guy of the group.
Okay, you can get all dressed up and go.
Honestly, no, we don't. I know she does. She likes to, but yeah, I don't. I'm going to leave that for her. Okay. But it's
no T-shirt and cutoffs, though.
No. I'll still be formal about it. Yeah.
Well, it's funny to talk about that ballet. That's the one that really sticks in my mind. I don't know anything about most classic arts, music, dance, other performance, but that one does get through to you because you do hear it every year at Christmas time. And I guess I do have a favorite, one particular tune, one passage there, and that's the Waltz of the Flowers. And because it's a gorgeous piece of music. You hear it and you can see these dancers, these beautiful ballerinas working very hard.
Yes.
That's tough. It's a tough sport, folks.
Exactly.
But they match the musical mood so well, and it just kind of sweeps you away and changes your mind about a lot of things, I think.
You're right. And I spoke with two of the leads for the Nutcracker. His name is Jonathan Ramirez and Madalina Stoica from Romania, and Jonathan's from Colombia. They've been doing the leads for the Nutcracker for numerous amount of years now, and just amazing to hear, what makes them want to do it. I mean, they hear the audience, the laughter, and that keeps them on the stage, because, they brought up it's not easy. And the reason why it's not easy, they start getting ready for this a month and a half before the show. But they're there all day. So you're talking Monday through Friday. I'm not sure if they work weekends. Chances are they do. And even for these, for the specials of the Nutcracker, one of the things that they show, they're showing it on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Chances are on those Saturdays and Sundays they're showing it twice. They have a matinee show, and then they have an evening show. So, and I asked Jonathan and Madeline, I said, how do y'all do that? Because for people who play sports, they're going to be sore the next day. I'm pretty sure with these guys with their jumps and their lifts, they're sore too. And he said the one thing that cracks me up, because every Native American knows this: ibuprofen. He goes, I take a lot of ibuprofen. He goes, I'll hit the steam room, and Madalena does a lot of stretching, but she agreed on the ibuprofen too. So it was great hearing that, So I mean,
okay,
it's worldwide.
Well, why don't you recap that special offer there, and we'll get on with some more community announcements.
Definitely. First off, we're going to start with Tulsa Ballet in collaboration with Mvskoke Media. They're presenting the discounted tickets for all Mvskoke Creek Nation citizens and employees to any show during the 2017-2018 Tulsa Ballet season. For more, to take advantage of this offer, contact, if I say this wrong, I apologize, Sherry Nabosny at 918-392-5914.
Okay. Now, this is a month for a lot of different health-related topics and things like that. And one of the things going on actually today, it's the Great American Smokeout is with us, and the more you try, the more likely you are to succeed. So they've got a number of tips and some information to share with you. If you're looking at quitting, you thought about quitting, you're trying to quit, they want to help you with their cold turkey challenge. So you can call them or email. Today is one of the few remaining days for that. Pledge card filled out today, and you will receive a quit kit prior to the 16th, so you'll be ready to go cold turkey. And on November 16th, an information and sign-up table will be available at the complex from 8:30 until 10:30. So give them a call. 918-756-9343, and good luck with trying to quit.
Started Monday, not remember that day, but it's America Recycles Day, more like America Recycles Week for the Mvskoke Creek Nation. They'll be hosting events. They had a lot of things. I know they had some things in the brew, did a lot of things too, going out there. They had like a lot of monitors and small computers going up to the MCN Recycling Center. Today they're having a shredding event, from the Green Country Shredding Company from 9 to noon. So bring all your documents, all the old papers, get them shredded. They're going to shred it for you for free. Gather all those recyclables and recycle. For more information, contact 918-549-2580.
So if you got files you want to hide from the world,
do it now.
The 2017 Hope Conference is scheduled today and tomorrow. That's going on at the River Spirit Casino and Convention Center. If you got people who are interested in suicide prevention and other mental health topics, then that's the place to go.
Last thing, one of the cool things, I'll give you an update on this one, that time of the year for the angel tree. The angels went up on November 1st. I got a call yesterday that all the angels have been picked.
Yay!
So that's awesome. The angels will be due back by December 1st. Please return those gifts unwrapped to the MCN Complex Community Services Building. For information, contact Children and Family Services at 918-732-7869.
The Harjo Bird Family Reunion is set up for the 18th. That's at the Tulsa Indian Creek Community Center. That's the Jinx exit off of 75. That is from 10 a.m. to 4, lunch at noon, bring a covered dish. If you're interested, give them a call, 918-671-2951. And that's all we can squeeze in this month. Or is it? No. Okay, I'm getting this. Squeeze it and the other direction. Okay, enough of that. What do we got here? Celebrating resiliency, addressing sexual assault through community healing. That is coming up Friday, December 1st. And they're going to shed light on sexual assault, which is a hot topic right now. Look at all those guys in fancy spots in Washington, D.C. that are sweating it out. Good. I'm glad to hear it. The program is 9 to 1:30 at the College of the Mvskoke Nation. That, again, is Friday, December 1st. And let's see here. What do you got there?
I think that's it. We need to cut off time. I mean, it's time to go. So
we're done. All right. Gary Five saying, Mado Marblehead is good.
Darren DeLon, Gia Jeffkados.
You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. Mado.
On the air, on your phone, and online, it's classic hits of the 60s, 70s, and 80s on 1240 The Brew. 1240 KOKL.
SJ, welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. Mr. Stongo, Gary Fife, Joe Jeff Gados. Welcome to this week's edition of Seat of Your Pants Radio. We've got some wonderful things we had lined up to talk about the upcoming festival, which is the end of next week. And the crew that we had lined up from Tourism and Recreation have got a couple of other things that have occupied their time at the moment, so they're doing a bit of scrambling also. We were going to talk about today about the lineup of the program, what we've got, any changes, things we need to be aware of. And first of all, we would like to say that once again, with the wonderful cooperation of Brooks Brewer here at 1240 The Brew, we will be broadcasting live from the festival grounds on Friday morning. So there will be no show on Wednesday morning, next Wednesday, but there will be the live broadcast from the festival Friday morning, which is kind of a quiet time there. So if you've got nothing to do and you're wandering around, come by the festival grounds, say howdy, maybe say hello to our listeners for us. In the meantime, we're making it up as we go, as I say. Well, let me share some community announcements here. We kind of make things upside down here on our show. Kind of some of the things that we've been awful pressed to put out, but we haven't exactly had the time. First of all, here's a salute to our wonderful Mvskoke youth. The Mvskoke Youth Awards Banquet's coming up June the 20th. That's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Mvskoke Dome. That's to celebrate the wonderful achievements of the youth visionaries and the old who help the young, as well as members of the Mvskoke Nation Youth Council, a wonderful group. Tickets are on sale for $10 and can be purchased at their youth services office here in downtown Okmulgee or at the door. And if you're interested, you can give them a call at 918-549-2557 if you have questions or need more information. Okay, let's see what else we got. All right. For all of you basketball fiends out there, a 3-on-3 tournament coming up Saturday, June the 17th. Where are we? Yeah. 9 a.m. Mvskoke Dome at the Claude Cox Complex. And we're looking at having them come in. So we're going to take a short pause while we rearrange ourselves and be right back with you.
One Fire Casino in Okmulgee offers Ladies' Day every Monday with $5 match play, VIP days for seniors on Tuesdays, lunchtime match plays on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and several other great drawings and prizes throughout the weekend. Don't forget to take advantage of spinning the wheel on Sundays to win up to $5,000 cash. Be sure to check out the daily meal specials at Council Oak Cafe. There are exciting monthly giveaways with extravagant prizes. Come and play at One Fire Casino, where it really is okay to play with fire.
It's once again time for the 43rd Annual Mvskoke Nation Festival Weekend, June 22nd through 24th in Okmulgee, featuring your favorite festival events including cultural activities, the art market, the All-Indian Rodeo that started it all, sports competitions, the parade, plus a can't-miss entertainment schedule. Grammy Award winner Leanne Womack headlines Country Night Friday, June 24th at 9 p.m. Saturday night, June 25th is Blues Night, headlined by Kenny Wayne Shepherd. For more information on Festival Weekend, including schedules and entry forms, visit creektourism.com.
I started doing it when I was 11. I wanted to be just like my big brother. And some of my friends were already doing it. We got hooked fast. I just can't get enough. I'm Jacob, and I'm addicted to playing the drums.
There's lots of stuff that makes it cool to be native. Doing meth isn't one of them. Find something better to do. Check out ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
All right, welcome back to our program, and as we're making some progress here in our Make It Up As You Go Along program, we've got Ryan Logan from Tourism and Recreation on the line. How are you this morning, sir?
Good morning.
I understand you're kind of busy over there, huh?
I want to make sure that we had you guys covered.
Oh, well, I appreciate it so much because I was staring at about 25 minutes of dead air almost. Now, first of all, my salute to you and your crew there. You're working with a reduced task force there. I understand there have been some changes in the personnel over there, and you're covering a lot more bases. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we've had a lot of changes on there, but the festival's still going full force.
Yeah, okay. We'll come out just as crazy and mad as the rest of your crew there. Well, we want to first of all say thank you for making time for me this morning. I know that your schedule is berserk, but we wanted to run over the schedule as best as we can, and a few changes and things that people need to be aware of this year's festival. First of all, no ice chest, right?
No ice chest. We do allow people to bring in drinks and food or whatnot, but the Light Horse Police cannot see through them, and we want to make sure it's a family atmosphere and safe for everybody. So we do not allow alcohol on the premises, and that's why we have to unfortunately ban ice chests.
Right, that's how it was being, let's call it, smuggled in. So, folks, if you're thinking about bringing alcohol with you to enjoy a concert or so, try a soft drink or something that's available out there. Sorry to say, no ice chests, first of all. Okay, now we've actually seen the festival kick off back on June the 3rd. On Saturday, we had our Miss and Junior Miss Mvskoke Creek Nation Scholarship Pageant at the Dome, and we have new royalty for this year, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we're really excited to have them. This will be their first festival as being Miss and Junior Miss, and they'll get to see festival from a whole new light, seeing the rodeo and going through the parade and whatnot. It'll be a great time for them.
Right. You wouldn't happen to have some names there handy, would you?
Oh, I sure don't. I made sure to come over to a very quiet place so I could have my full directions for you guys.
Well, bless your heart once again. Okay. Well, folks, you will see these royalty this year at many events. We're sure that we're going to try and get them on the program here to talk about what they've got in mind. Okay, moving on our schedule there. Friday through Sunday, June 9th through 11th, is the annual golf tournament a 4-person scramble. That's at Fountainhead in Shakota.
Yes, that was this past weekend. Friday had filled a couple of weeks before, actually, so we had a great turnout. We had some fun times down there. Fountainhead had all their staff out there working really hard and ensuring all the citizens and guests had a good time.
Oh, that's cool. Moving along, we've got the slow pitch softball tournament coming up starting Friday, correct?
Yes. We just got the brackets posted yesterday, so I can't reinforce that idea, too much. That the brackets are posted. They're on creekfestival.com, and they're also posted on Facebook. But we have 117 games scheduled for this weekend.
Oh, God. You're going to have any 4 a.m. Starts there? I presume your tournament will last long into the night if need be.
Yes, we'll be utilizing both the city fields in Okmulgee, their 2 fields, and also our 4 Clover here as well.
Okay, I know that's a hugely popular sport among our citizens. Tell me, I know you probably have been pretty busy during the festivals there, but do you have any dynasties showing up in the softball world there? Is there a town or a team that's consistently on top there?
Yeah, we really do. I mean, actually, the majority of them are. They kind of a repeat. We're very blessed to be our timing of the festival, that it's kind of the beginning of the softball season. And so, we've had, for adding slow pitch and fast pitch together, we've had years that's, 106-plus teams, which is just wonderful. And, we've had to help other tribes before find those softball teams because it's later in the year for their festivals.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What might be an interesting turn of events is to have an intertribal tournament, see who's the best in the state.
We actually did that back in 2011, and I believe we did it again in 2012. We did have a few cancellations the last day, but we tried to get one team from the 5 tribes, and so we could do that and whatnot. But it was a great tournament. We had maybe 6 or 7 actually could make it. We had Cherokees and Choctaws. I believe the Chickasaws had to close that year, but yeah, we did that in 2011, 2012.
Oh, gosh. I'd like to see that and be able to promote that. That sounds really intriguing.
It was.
I presume there were no bust-ups behind the bleachers afterwards?
We give it all good, clean fun.
Okay, a little intertribal razzing, but that's all it's allowed. Okay, now we're seeing the tennis tournament there also on the 17th, beginning way in the morning at Hawthorne Park here.
Yeah, last year was the first year that it came back. Tennis has been a part of the festival before, and Vicki Tate is the coordinator for that, and she approached us last year and said, let's bring this back. And so last year was the test year, and it was very, very successful. And so this year she's kind of expanded that, and they've got a little bit better prizes and whatnot. So we're really excited for tennis. We're very happy that it's back at the festival.
Right, and then, of course, both of those sports will continue through Sunday the 18th until you get a winner, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right, moving on to the more action-packed week of festival, starting Thursday, June 22nd. One of our most popular cultural events, the Stomp Dance, will be taking place on festival grounds. That's always packed with people. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it has grown so much, even in the past 4 or 5 years, moving it from over at the complex to now the Omniplex. It is just really ballooned. We're thankful that we have the facility over here to accommodate everybody, but yes, the Stomp Dance always kicks off Thursday night and kicks off the festival weekend.
Right, and Living Legends will be
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Now, do we have some names there yet?
They just released them. I'd have to pull it from the file. I know previous Chief A.D. Ellis was among the winners. Cannot recall the others. I could try to look that up for you, but
Jory Coker.
Yes, they just released those names, I believe, yesterday.
Okay. Let's see. Moving on to Friday. Oh, by the way, how's your time doing? I understand we also have Carmen on the line.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Let's see if our board op can.
I just hung up on him, and I will get Carmen.
Okay. Hello, Carmen.
Hello.
Hi, Carmen. It's Jay.
Yes. Hey, I can't make it this morning. I sent you an email yesterday morning, and I guess I should have called, and I really apologize. I have a neurologist appointment
Yikes.
this morning. and from my back. I tried to get other people to fill in, and I could not get no one to do that for me. So.
Okay, well, listen, I understand. It's pretty crazy over there. You guys are a little short-handed, but trying to soldier on and get this thing done. Well, I tell you what, we're going to then let you get on with your morning here, and we'll give a buzz back to Ryan, who was with us for a little bit there. So
I was going to say, Ryan is over there.
Yeah.
You could talk him into doing it.
Yeah.
I tried to yesterday, but we might be able to do a little bit better job of doing it.
No, that's okay. We actually were talking to him when you called in. So, okay, well, you have a good one. All right, Ryan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we had Carmen there on the line who was telling us she couldn't make it. So, a little more to confusion here. You heard it first on Mvskoke Radio live in action. Okay, now we have Fredo Anderson, Joreen Coker, Ramona Mason, and of course our ADLs who are this year's Living Legends, right?
Correct.
Okay, now this goes back to what it used to be before our former principal chief changed it to the Hall of Fame, and this one always seemed to be a little more, what do we say, crowd-friendly, community-friendly.
Yes, this is open to the public. We welcome everyone to come in and see it, and it does go back to what the Ellis administration had put forward back in 2011, 12. I believe Living Legends started in either 2004 or 2005.
Right, and then our previous principal chief changed it to a Hall of Fame black tie kind of thing. But I understand this change has been quite popular. Have you actually heard from anybody?
We've had a good response. Now, I've been more involved with it this year than the previous years. I know that the Living Legends Committee has been working very, very hard in trying to plan every detail to accommodate both the citizens, their families, and also just respective guests. Last year was their first year going back to having Living Legends, and they had a wonderful turnout. And so I know this year they took their plans from last year, and now they're increasing them to make sure they have the ability to handle larger crowds for this year, because we want to see it continue to grow.
Oh yeah, that's so wonderful to have the stalwarts of our cultural community recognized like that. Okay, let's see. Moving on to Friday the 23rd, things really ramp up then. We've got Junior Olympics at Harmon Stadium, senior activities, rodeo, and traditional skills. All of that starting on Friday morning, right?
Yes. Yeah. One thing with the Junior Olympics, last year was the first year that we utilized the timing company, so we wouldn't actually have to have people there with the stopwatches and whatnot, and it proved to be pretty positive. So I know we've invited them to come back. We're making sure we have adequate restrooms. The health department has been wonderful in trying to ensure that we have all those capabilities and we have those things put in place for our youth and children.
Right. I've covered that event several times. My favorite is the tug of war with the little guys. And you've got misting stations again this year?
Yes, it's in the previous years. They're just going to make sure. We always pull our festival files from the previous year and say, okay, where were we great and where were we lacking, and let's try to make sure that next